What's up, guys? This is Cory, and welcome to ReviewTube. Today I'm going to be talking about the movie High School Musical. This is a Disney Channel original movie from 2006, and it basically was one of those Disney Channel movies that sparked a huge following, more or less, in the youth of the mid-2000s. And, it spawned 3 sequels, so I'm going to be talking about the entire trilogy as a whole. And, you know, going to talk about this first one. Let me give you a little background about, the movies and stuff and what I thought of them back years ago and everything. So, back in 2006, I remember I saw the movie when it first premiered on Disney Channel, and I loved it. Like, I was a huge fan of musicals, and, I really liked the story of it. I really loved the music and the choreography and everything. And, I was on that bandwagon. I was kind of with everyone. I thought it was a really great kind of Disney Channel original movie. And, there was a lot of not backlash, but I mean, there was a lot of people who didn't like it. And back then I didn't understand why everyone disliked it. I thought it was just kind of a fun musical film that many people could enjoy, and kind of had some good messages throughout. And then they made the sequel, and I watched it and I liked it. There were some songs I liked and stuff, and um, I was still I was in high school at that point, and the the wave of it was kind of dying down for me a little bit, but I mean, I enjoyed the second one. And when the third one came to theaters, I didn't care. I didn't see the third one. But that's about to change soon. I'm going to be watching the second one again soon enough, and the third one here soon as well, and give you guys my thoughts on both of those. But today I'm just going to focus on the first film. So, let me give you kind of a brief story of what High School Musical is about. High School Musical is about a basketball star who goes to this high school. His name's Troy Bolton, played by Zac Efron. And, he meets this girl on New Year's Eve at this kind of country club dance thing for teenagers. And, they're playing karaoke, and he's randomly selected to sing this song, and so is she. And her name is Gabriella Montez, and she is played by Vanessa Hudgens. And so they sing the song, and they have a connection, and they kind of have feelings a little bit, but they exchange phone numbers and stuff, and they don't talk again, for who knows how long. Well, it turns out that she ends up going to the same school as Troy Bolton, and she quickly finds out that he is the basketball team's star. He's, huge into basketball and stuff, and they're getting ready for a big basketball tournament. And she's, very brainy. She's very nerdy and stuff, and, she doesn't want to join any clubs or anything because she's kind of afraid to be that weird kid who's just so smart that she kind of becomes the victim of bullying, I guess. Bullying's never mentioned, but I'm assuming that's kind of part of it. But, she realizes that they are at the same school. They both have a drama class together, and musical auditions are coming up. And, Troy, he kind of shrugs it off at first, but he is a little interested because Gabriella's kind of like, oh, we had fun with that one song and stuff. Maybe we should, try out. But, she doesn't really want to put any full commitment in anything at that point. And so eventually they meet together, and they just miss the auditions, but because the pianist who composed the entire musical, and she's like, her name's Kelsey, and she is basically in their grade or younger or something. Really smart individual who really wants them to succeed because the two people who auditioned for the group auditions are Sharpay and Ryan, brother and sister, who are always in the musicals. They are pretty much hands down like the only people who give a crap about theater. And uh, Sharpay is kind of a bitch, for pardon the language, but she kind of is. And Ryan, he's into theater and everything. He's not the brightest bulb in the shed, but at the same time, he is kind of a little more good-hearted, but not fully. So Kelsey, the pianist, wants to try have Troy and Gabriella try out, and they try that out, and the theater teacher overhears it, says, "You know what? You guys have a callback." And that brings a huge backlash to the entire school because Troy is supposed to be the basketball star, and he's supposed to be just about sports, and he shouldn't be trying out new things. Gabriella is the smart girl, and she shouldn't be trying out new things. And it creates like a huge uproar in the school amongst their peers. And things happen and everything, and basically eventually they decide we're not going to go to the callbacks, and then a couple days later they're like, okay, we'll do the callbacks, and they hit it out of the park and everything. It's kind of your normal paint by the numbers type of high school story. A couple people meet, they're not sure if they should do this or not, but then they're like, okay, let's do it, and then backlash happens, so they break up, and then they get back together. So I rewatched this movie here just yesterday, and I have very, very mixed feelings about this film. In fact, this may be a little bit longer video than I intend, but if that's the case, I apologize. Um, I don't really like the message that this film gives out, especially for at least the first two-thirds of the film. And that is that just because you are viewed as one thing, you have to be that one thing only. Many people have this thing, including his father, who is the head coach of the basketball team, who wants Troy to get a scholarship and be successful, become a huge basketball star like he was in high school. And everyone in this school lives in their own world. The basketball kids, they all just want to do nothing but basketball. They only think basketball. They only care about basketball. They don't want anything different. And that goes the same for the smart kids, the the skateboarding kids, all sorts of different subgroups in this entire school. And they devote an entire song about how you should stick to the status quo, don't try and be different, despite the fact that some people may have different thoughts and ideas and may want to try new things. For example, there's a kid who's in the basketball team who wants to try and cook. He loves cooking. He wants to create the perfect creme brulee, and all of his friends are like, that's stupid. Don't stick to the status quo. And there's like a brainiac girl who loves to break dance and stuff, and they all shrug her off and everything, and say no, don't change the norm. And that kind of message, I think, sends the wrong vibe to many people. I don't think that's the right way to look at things, and the film kind of addresses that. They kind of have that hallmark moment near the end of the film where they're like, well, we were wrong. You should try new things, and we shouldn't be bringing you down. We should be supporting you, and we're with you 100%. And that's fine and everything, but it just didn't seem to really work the way I think it should have. Taking a look at something like The Breakfast Club, where you have 5 people of different classes and groups and stuff. You've got your nerd, you've got your jock, the basket case, the criminal, and the princess. The rich, uppity, think she's better than everyone else type person. And they all are in this one room, and they have to really stick with each other for the entire day, and they end up making a friendship out of it, despite the fact that they will not be the same when they go back to school on Monday. I'm not saying that The Breakfast Club is the perfect film or that it's sends all the right messages, but it seems more real than what this is. Everyone in this film seems like a giant caricature or uh, giant kind of cartoon character of a group, almost like a stereotype in a way. You've got your jocks, you've got your smart kids, you've got your you know punk skateboarding kids, and they all hate each other. When I was in high school, I didn't really have that. There were subgroups of people. There were the jocks and stuff, and there were smart kids and everything. But everyone seemed to get along pretty well. We never really had much of issues. Um, I'm not saying that there wasn't issues, but I'm saying everyone was pretty cool with it with everyone. If you were the smart kid, no one really gave a shit. They didn't treat the smart kids badly or anything. If you were a jock, no one really did anything against the jocks or anything. They didn't, say mean things or spread rumors, as far as I know, at least. Maybe I don't remember high school very well, but my high school just didn't have that type of thing. I myself was kind of a loner in high school, and I didn't really belong in any real group or anything until I joined theater in my junior year. I joined theater and really fell in love with it. I was in one play and two musicals. Um, it was always like a supporting character, kind of a background nobody type role, but um, I always had fun with it. And, you know, no one treated me differently for it. I was kind of a little bit of the weird kid, but at the same time, I was always nice to everyone, and everyone was really nice to me. So I don't really have that disconnect. Maybe it's out there. I'm sure there are several people who disagree with me, and if that's the case, share in the comments because I just don't really remember anyone having real backlash for being part of a different group than what you are perceived as. Going back to the movie, I'll go into the music real quick. The music was hit and miss. More miss than hit, honestly. The songs were a little too polished. There were some neat things that they did throughout, but, like, the first song was sung well enough, but it was a little too polished. It was like, I don't believe that they're actually standing up there and singing this song. And one thing that was really distracting was the fact that uh, Zac Efron didn't really sing in this movie. He had like a different singer, and he was just kind of acting out the part when he was on screen. But it was distracting because it didn't sound like him at all. And many other people like Vanessa Hudgens, who I do know had a singing career, or at least a small one, and then Ashley Tisdale, who played Sharpay. Um, well, no, excuse that Sharpay comment, but at least for Ashley Tisdale, no, at least for Vanessa Hudgens, it sounded too polished and everything. It didn't sound real or anything. At least with Sharpay and Ryan, Ashley Tisdale, and I forgot the other guy's name. But anyway, they actually sounded like they were actually singing. It was a little polished, but it was sounded real enough, I suppose. And you get onto the music and stuff, and some of it worked. I think that about 3 or 4 songs really work, and that's the song that Troy and Vanessa Hudgens auditioned for. Um, and it's kind of the slower version of what I've been waiting for, or something like that. And Breaking Free, which is kind of like that big song near the end, really works. It's fun. It's energetic. It's well sung, despite the fact that you can tell Zac Efron's not really singing it. And it does work pretty well for the scene. I like the use of basketballs and shoes squeaking and everything for "Get Your Head in the Game," although I didn't particularly like the song fully. the last song when they're in the gym was a lot of fun. It kind of was very energetic and everything, and I think it really worked. At least the choreography was really good. Um, oh, and probably the best song in the entire film is "Bop to the Top," which unfortunately is broken up into several places because they're creating that illusion of, everything's happening all at once. Troy's in the basketball game, and the smart kids are at the math lead thing, and they're trying to uh, get done quick enough so that way they can disrupt the electronic system in the gym, and get out so they can go to this. So Troy and uh, Gabriella can go and audition at the callbacks. But yeah, Bop to the Top, which is sung by Ashley Tisdale and the other guy, Ryan is the character, is a really fun, energetic song that I think really works. It does sound really good. It's got a lot of kind of different feels for it, and it's a really fun and enjoyable song. The choreography for this film is really good, actually. I really enjoyed a lot of the choreography, especially in like the last song. Really good. I don't. I think the director was the choreographer or something like that, but yeah, I really like the choreography of the film. It really served the film's purpose really well. There were some things like the song where Vanessa Hudgens is, it's just realized that Troy doesn't give a shit about the musical and he just wants to be with his friends and stuff for the basketball stuff. And, she has like the song, and it's that, and stick to the status quo. It wasn't the greatest choreography, but I mean it was serviceable enough. But everything else was really good. I was very impressed with the choreography. The acting is not very good. Everything's very over the top, especially from like the adult cast members. The father of Troy, the coach, I just didn't buy into the characters. They were so over the top, and they were very much like caricatures. I had a hard time getting behind the characters and the acting. So I mean, the story, it's very paint by the numbers, so not very good in my opinion. But for the choreography and for a couple of the songs, it is enjoyable. This is not a good movie in my opinion, but it is enjoyable for a couple of things. And when it comes to a musical, I just want to be entertained. I just want to enjoy the music and the choreography and everything. I want to be immersed in the story, and in some ways it fits, what I think is like a good musical, but in other ways this film was not very good, and therefore I can't really give this I can't even really call this a good musical or a decent passable film or anything. I'm going to go ahead and rate this a 4.5 out of 10. I just did not get into the movie very much. I didn't really like all of the messages that they were pushing for the first 2/3, and the acting and everything wasn't very good. But the music and the choreography were decent at times, and so therefore, it's not completely horrible. But I wouldn't call this good by any means. So tell me, guys, have you seen High School Musical? If you have, what'd you think of it? Did you like it? Did you dislike it? Share your thoughts on the film. Comment below. Let me know. Love to hear your feedback. I will try my best to keep the other two shorter than what this one was, but it just depends on how good they are. But either way, thank you for watching, and be sure to friend us on Facebook, and I will see you guys in the next one.